and Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
This is Jim Rockford. At the tone, leave your name and message. I'll get back to you.
Jim, it's Shirley at the cleaners. You know that brown jacket? The one I said looked so great on you? Your favorite? We lost it.
Poor Jim Rockford. He should have gone to Young's Dry Cleaning and he wouldn't have that problem. Young's Dry Cleaning, walk-up locations, free pickup and delivery, East Bank, West Bank, Homer office, and their manless locker locations. Find out more about the best, youngsdrycleaning.com. Yeah, you, right? Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. The 4 o'clock hour. First hour of 2 coming your way. Thanks for joining us on the radio. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. 93.9 FM. You can also check out the program on New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. 107.9 FM. Hey, if you're heading towards the capital city, west on I-10, check us out at 600 AM. On the AM side of the dial, 600 AM. Maybe you're beelining east towards the Slidell area, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, even the panhandle of Florida, 600 AM. 2 big hours on the radio, 2 big hours live streaming, CoreyTalks.com, our website, live audio and video streaming. Corey spelled K-A-A-R-E, CoreyTalks.com, K-A-A-R-E, CoreyTalks.com. You can check us out there. Also on YouTube. That's right, our fledgling YouTube channel. We just got that boy cranked up a few months ago. I readily admit I'm a yesteryear person. I'm terrible at social media, Twitter. I don't know when to and or hashtag or any of that stuff. Terrible at that. Trying to build the YouTube channel, but I love the YouTube channel because you can take that with you on your smartphone, your tablet, your pad. Check us out at work, home, on the computer. Go to YouTube. In that search bar, put in Corey Johnson Neutral Ground, and kaboom goes the dynamite. There we are live. Plus, if you missed something, yesterday's show, last week's show, last month's show, you can check it out on YouTube. Now, yesterday, we had on Dickie Brennan in the 4 o'clock hour, and I just thought it was a great hour, talking about a great guy who has been in the restaurant business his whole life. His family's in it, just telling it like it is, telling us all kind of great stories, how different dishes were developed, Commander's Palace, Paul Prudhomme, all kind of great stuff. Talking about his restaurants, the Palace Cafe, Dickie Brennan Steakhouse, the Bourbon House, Tableau, Acorn, the Commissary, and now a 7th restaurant. Yeah, they acquired Pascal's Manali on Napoleon Avenue. So we visited with Dickie Brennan yesterday on the program. I don't know, if you're a native New Orleanian that loves food, that loves the culture of the city, likes a little history as well, I learned a lot. I thought it was a pretty enjoyable conversation. That's a good example of something you can check out on YouTube, our YouTube channel, The Neutral Ground, Corey Johnson. Yeah, Tuesday afternoon, this 4 o'clock hour brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? The quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, as New Orleans as it gets. USA Today had a top 10 restaurant list for tourists coming to New Orleans. Top 10 restaurants that tourists should go to that are real New Orleans, a real flavor of New Orleans. One of those top 10, according to USA Today, for visitors, for tourists coming into the city, Katie's in Mid-City. I think it is in the top 10 as far as a great place where you get that neighborhood feel, really good food, large portions, great for sharing, sit inside, sit outside. Katie's in Mid-City. You know, Scott Craig has another restaurant over in Lakeview that you need to check out. It's in the old Charlie's Deli location for you olden days, folks. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has about 15 different specialty sandwiches, deli sandwiches to choose from, or you can build your own, make your own. Choose the bread, the meat, the dressing, the cheese, the extras. Plus, they have some really good pizza. That's why it's Francesca Deli and Pizzeria. Just like Katie's, some of the best pizza in town can be found at Francesca Deli and Pizzeria in Lakeview, and they deliver. Check them out online, francescadeli.com. Francescadeli.com. The 4 o'clock hour this afternoon brought to you by Francesca Deli and Pizzeria in Lakeview and Katie's restaurant in Mid-City. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? We got a full slate for you. Coming up in the 5 o'clock power hour, live from the state capitol, from the House floor. Pat Connick, West Bank legislator, West Bank House rep, one of the 105, one of the good guys that tells it like it is, that is civic-minded, that actually is sacrificing money and time with family to go to bat for us. An honest legislator. You know, there's another West Banker. He's no longer in the legislature. Thank God. Old John Alario. Just there for himself. His mentor, he'd readily admit, Edwin Edwards. I mean, need I say more? Crooked Edwin Edwards. John Alario didn't fall too much of a distance from the tree. John Alario was basically a legislator on the House side, on the Senate side for 45 plus years for one reason and one reason alone, to enrich himself and his family. That's it. That's it. Period. End of story. Kind of nauseating how we accept the John Alario types. One son is a riverboat pilot earning $500,000-$600,000 a year. Even the riverboat pilots don't like him because he never pilots a ship. Daddy gets him the job, and then daddy gets him to not have to work the job. Amazing. Another son bouncing from state commission to state commission, earning six figures, going to these different state commissions that have nothing to do with each other. And that's not coincidental because John Alario's other son that's on these commissions doesn't have any idea what he's doing on any of these commissions. Like his son, the riverboat pilot. Nothing special, not geared towards that job, not experience in the job, no way to justify it except daddy taking care of his kids, like daddy taking care of himself. And always pulling the Walter Reed. That's using campaign funds for personal use. I don't know what John Alario's got on the feds, but they went after Walter Reed pretty hard. Don't know why they didn't go after John Alario for the exact same thing. Anyway, Pat Connick's cut out of the opposite cloth. Civic-minded, not setting up friends and family, the opposite. Sacrificing, losing salary as an attorney to be a state rep. We'll visit with him in the 5 o'clock power hour and find out exactly what's going on in Baton Rouge. Day 2 of the legislative session. The Gordon Plaza residents are at City Hall as we speak. Gordon Plaza, this lower 9th Ward neighborhood, basically the neighborhood was built on what is now a Superfund site. The old agriculture street landfill back in the 50s and 60s. They covered it up, and then the city sold lots for residents. Amazing. The city's got $35 million set aside for Gordon Plaza residents. They're supposed to receive official appraisals and offers today for their houses from the city, and relocation paid for. City's trying to get them out very quickly, get them into a rental property, and then get them into a new property that doesn't sit on a toxic landfill, hopefully. Old Mercy Academy, the high school on Ferret and Calhoun, built about 60 years ago, that iconic building getting torn down. I don't know, I should say iconic. But a building that a lot of New Orleanians know and recognize. Getting torn down, Loyola's going to build some dorms on that site. More car break-ins in Lakeview. They're rarely aligned, but Attorney General Jeff Landry and Mayor LaToya Cantrell are aligned. I'll fill you in on that. And I'll also fill you in on Angel Reese and her amazing NIL money. She's earning over $1 million a year while playing basketball for LSU, the Lady Hoopsters. It's all legit. It's all legit. Hey, I was on the North Shore today in Mandeville, and yes, it was lunchtime, and yes, I went to Trey Inn and got one of those great lunch specials for under $10. About 18 different gourmet Chinese lunch specials to choose from, Tuesday through Friday. If you're in or around Mandeville at lunchtime, make it Trey Inn and those gourmet Chinese lunch specials for under $10.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all of the time.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you. The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. New Orleans afternoon drive time radio talk program. And we've been simulcasting the talk radio show for, I guess, about 15 years now on television, statewide. We're on Cox Channel 4 TV, 4 to 5:30. The first 90 minutes of the 2-hour radio program. The first 90 minutes of 2 hours of live streaming at CoreyTalks.com. The first 90 minutes of 2 hours on YouTube. You can catch statewide on television. Cox Channel 4 TV, 4 to 5:30, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and the surrounding areas. If you have chartered television, we're on Spectrum Channel 333 from 4 to 5:30. That would be in Slidell, Covington, Mandeville, Trey Yen country. Also, a fifth location of the Woodhouse Day Spa now in Mandeville. We're in Hammond, Houma, Thibodaux, Opelousas, all over Louisiana on Cox Channel 4. That's Your View, Louisiana. And all over Louisiana on the Charter, a.k.a. Spectrum Television Network. I guess I should say the cable, Spectrum, and Charter. Channel 333 on Spectrum. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. 5 o'clock power hour. Pat Connick, West Bank House Rep. He'll join us live from the state capitol as the legislative session enters day 2, about a $46 billion budget. $46 billion with a B. I just don't see how that's possible, especially with 4.5 million people in Louisiana, $45+ billion budget. Just mind-blowing. It's crazy. Where does all that money go? And there's going to be a surplus of $1.5, maybe $2 billion. We'll talk about all of that with Pat Connick coming up in the 5 o'clock power hour in less than an hour. You don't want to miss any of that. Yeah, these two are rarely aligned. They're aligned in a couple of different ways. One, how they run their politics, how they run their when they're running for office, when they're running for election. Basically, they're not political ideology. Their political ideology is diametrically opposed, the opposite ends of the spectrum. One of them is wacky right wing, and the other is lunatic left. Neither one is a mainstream Republican or conservative, and neither one is a mainstream Democrat or liberal. Wacky right, loony left, hardcore extreme. But they both basically subscribe to the same playbook. Divide and try to conquer. Divisive politics. The other side's the enemy. The other side is racist. The other side is dysfunctional. They embrace this philosophy. They try to pit some New Orleanians or Louisiana folks against other New Orleanians or Louisiana folks. They are rarely aligned except in how they go to bat when it comes to their own political, I guess, survival, and when they're running for office. I'm talking about the Attorney General Jeff Landry, who's running for governor. The fix is already in. The crazy Republican Party endorses this guy before qualifying even got started, essentially. before they even knew. John Kennedy running or not? Garrett Graves running for not? Is Hewitt, is Schneider going to run? I mean, had no idea who's going to run. Billy Nungesser had no clue, but we're endorsing Jeff Landry because the fix was already in. The agenda is there with the Republican Party in Louisiana. No different from the Democrats, another dysfunctional group in New Orleans and Louisiana. Yeah, AG Jeff Landry and Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Their political playbook is exactly the same, even though their political ideology is exactly opposite. And again, they're aligned on the NOPD's consent decree, but for different reasons. For different reasons. I would imagine LaToya Cantrell originally was for the consent decree, a dysfunctional NOPD, violating civil rights. The feds came in to try to straighten that out, to get the department to run itself correctly. Now, as mayor, she is against it and has done a lot of belligerent things lately, telling the superintendent, other NOPD officers, any city employee, do not go in front of these judges and talk about anything that has to do with the city and the consent decree, when the judges are saying, oh, no, we're ordering you to come speak to us. The city council in New Orleans has written a letter to some of these judges saying, hey, essentially the gist of the letter, forget about the mayor. We're the city council. We have a lot of control too. We want to work with you. How do we work with you to get rid of this consent decree? We're not trying to butt heads with you like the mayor. We're not taking a belligerent attitude or tact and telling our folks not to talk with you. The opposite. We want our folks to talk with you. How do we end this consent decree? Help us, steer us in the right direction. That's what the city council's saying, kind of going the opposite, angle as the mayor with this, reaching out to the judges, desperately trying to work with the judges to end the consent decree. The mayor wants to end the consent decree for different reasons. She wants to end it because she just feels the NOPD is hamstrung. They're hogtied. They can't get anything done. And she just wants it over. It's costing the city millions of dollars. Jeff Landry wants it over for no reasons that Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Again, their ideologies are opposite. He wants it over because he doesn't think the judicial branch of government should be interfering with police. He doesn't care about the civil rights violations, and that's why they got involved. He just has an ideology. The judicial branch should not be getting involved in this. That's it. So it's different ways to skin a cat, I guess. They both want the consent decree gone. But the reasoning, Jeff Landry, Mayor Cantrell want it gone, have nothing to do with each other. Zero. But they're aligned as far as wanting that consent decree removed. Just like they're aligned when it comes to how they operate. Conquer or divide and try to conquer. Pit one side against the other, never hyping their own potential accomplishments or what they're going to do, just dogging the opposite side. The other side is evil. They're the enemy. That's exactly what Jeff Landry does. That's exactly what Mayor LaToya Cantrell does. So they're aligned that way, and they're aligned, at least both wanting the consent decree to go bye-bye. No one wants the consent decree to stick around. But obviously, I think the council and the way they're approaching it is a much more reasonable approach, a realistic approach, an approach that actually might get the consent decree to go away. Angel Reese, her NIL income, reportedly about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, was significant, about $400,000 a year in endorsements and the like. Then right as LSU was making the NCAA tournament, it pretty much doubled reportedly from about $400,000 to about $800,000 in income, earning it. Social media phenom, endorsing different products. Now she's at $1.3 million annually. Angel Reese. Now, what's funny about this, LSU gymnast Olivia Dunn, She is number 3 in all of college and high school sports in America. She earns about $3.4 million a year. An LSU gymnast, because she is a real social media phenom and endorses a bunch of products. She makes $3.4 million annually, reportedly, in NIL money. Just mind-blowing. Now, when I saw Angel Reese coming off the plane after the national championship from Dallas, 4th largest metro area in the country, about 7 million in the metroplex, Dallas, Fort Worth, the other outlying little towns and cities, about 7 million. In about a decade or so, Dallas is expected to surpass Chicago and become the 3rd largest metropolitan area in the United States after New York and Los Angeles. Dallas has a lot of high-end shopping, an insane amount of high-end shopping. Angel Reese comes off the plane. She's got her luggage, and on her arm, she's got a few bags, I noticed. Neiman Marcus, high-end department store. It's not JCPenney, it's Neiman Marcus. And then not 1, but 2 Louis Vuitton bags. Go check out the Louis Vuitton store at Canal Place. A little key fob, like for your key rings, like $400 or $500. The cheapest little coin purse that's like 4 inches by 3 inches with a little zipper, not even made out of leather, like vinyl with a cotton infusion. I'm not kidding you. About $800. Any little purse wallet for like your checkbook, a nice wallet for a girl to put in her purse, a woman's purse, $1,200, $1,500. And the purses, Louis Vuitton, I don't know, $2,500 minimum to, they could go up to $10,000, $12,000, $15,000, $20,000. And then the luggage, I saw Willie Green, Pell's coach, coming off the plane. On his shoulder, he had a big Louis Vuitton duffel bag. That's probably a $20,000 duffel bag. Wow.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet. Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Hey guys, it's Frank Smith from LasVegasGambling.com with your weekend 5-star lock of the week. Lock of the week, lock of the week. Take the Lakers and the points over the Clippers. Sell the house, sell the boat, sell your children. Send grandma away and take the money. Put everything you've got on this 5-star selection. It's the Lakers over the Clippers. And we've also got a fantastic 5-star parlay as well. Call us now, 888-555-7777. It's Frank Smith, a.k.a. The Hammer, from LasVegasGambling.com. Do it now, now, now.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our Top Benchmore exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years. We mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City. Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Coming up in about 35 minutes or so in the 5 o'clock power hour. West Bank Representative Pat Connick will join us live from the Capitol in Baton Rouge, day 2 of the legislative session. Yeah, going into that last break, I wasn't making that up. Willie Green's Louis Vuitton duffel bag, it ain't a fake. Probably about a $20,000 duffel bag, like 20 grand for a duffel bag, a piece of luggage. And it's not even real leather. The straps might be the piping or the, kind of the outside of it might be leather, but the most of the bag, this Louis Vuitton material is a vinyl, like a patent leather infused with cotton. I'm not making it up. It's not even leather. Now, I'm not saying it's cheap or it's a nice product. It's really nice. I just, and look, they get this all the time. They get this money all the time. It is coveted stuff. I have purchased some of it myself, little wallets and knickknacks for, I don't know, girlfriends, former wife, stuff like that. I've made my purchases from, used to be at Saks, and now at Canal Place they have a standalone Louis Vuitton store. I got a couple of little pieces, each like under $1,000, but still hundreds of dollars, because the women love it. That's what they want. I want a big flat screen TV. They probably think that's ridiculous. They want a Louis Vuitton wallet. Yeah, Willie Green's duffel bag. And Willie Green's probably just got the small one. There's some NBA players that have multiple bags. Their wives, their girlfriends have multiple bags. They might have a few $100,000 in Louis Vuitton stuff. So why I got off on that was Angel Reese coming off the plane with the Neiman Marcus bag and 2 Louis Vuitton bags. She hit those stores, spent thousands of dollars. In the olden days, using that term again, I mean, no players are coming off the plane with those bags. Right away, that would sound off an alarm. Right away. You win the national title. Where did you get the money to buy this stuff? I hope your family's rich, because that stuff is not cheap. But Angel Reese is. Angel Reese is rich. She's earning now about $1.3 million annually in NIL money, like $100,000 plus a month, $100,000 plus a month. To keep breaking it down, $25,000 a week, like $4,000 or $5,000 a day being Angel Reese. And it's beyond playing basketball at LSU. She's earned it. She's an All-American, but she's a social media phenom, and she endorses a lot of products like Raising Cane's chicken fingers. If you think Kim Mulkey and Angel Reese and a few other LSU women's basketball players were at that Raising Cane's, they call it the mothership, the flagship store. That was the old Mandy's Conoco in my day at LSU. Mandy's dad would sit out on a chair with one of those metal tables with a big 40, and he'd be rebuilding carburetors, which don't even exist on cars anymore, rebuilding them by hand. And Mandy, his daughter, ran the Conoco. That became the first original Raising Cane's about 30 years ago. If you think they were working there for free, you're mistaken. And boy, that Graves guy, who's like in his mid to late 40s now, he started that like 30 years ago as like a 20-something-year-old. No banks would lend him any money. They thought his idea was terrible. If you ask me, hey, man, I'm serving chicken fingers and chicken fingers only, one love, I'd be like, terrible idea, dude. You need other items, onion rings, sides. You got to serve breakfast. You need grilled for women, folks that don't want the batter, blah, 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 blah. Corey doesn't know what he's talking about because this guy now has like 600 locations worldwide doing billions of dollars in business annually, and it's not publicly traded. He's the sole owner, a Baton Rouge guy, LSU guy. The story goes, after the banks turned him down, he went to Alaska and went on a fishing boat, ridiculously dangerous, did that for about 6 months and earned like a year or two's salary in those 6 months. And that's how he bought Mandy's Conoco, redid it, and turned it into the Raising Cane's. And supposedly the first night, they did not close at the original time. They were set to close like 10 or 11. Kids just kept pouring in, and they ran out of chicken. And then a second location, a 10th location, a 50th location, a 100th location, on and on and on. My sister lives in Charlottesville, Virginia. And when there were only a handful of Raising Cane's, there was one in Charlottesville. I'm like, well, how's that possible? And from what I understand, the Graves guy's wife is from Virginia. The dad lives in Charlottesville, and that's like his franchise. No, now they're everywhere. They've done amazingly well. He's big on the NIL. That attorney, the Gordon guy in Baton Rouge, not known to a lot of New Orleanians, known up in the capital city, he's a big NIL guy. Pays a lot of different athletes at LSU money, pays Kim Mulkey money. I see a billboard. I'm tooling up in the BR, and there's the Gordon lawyer guy and Kim Mulkey on the billboard. No, NIL, name, image, likeness, college athletes being compensated for their name, image, and likeness has taken off like a rocket ship. And believe it or not, there's some athletes that could be making millions and millions and millions of dollars right now today that choose to not be involved, like Arch Manning, Cooper Manning. That's Peyton and Eli's brother, Cooper's kid, who's the freshman quarterback at Texas in Austin. He doesn't participate in that. He could have got NIL money while he was a senior quarterback at Newman, probably somewhere in the $1 million a year range. Right now, if LSU gymnast Olivia Dunn's making $3.4 million, I would think Arch Manning would be somewhere in that neighborhood right now at Texas, earning at least a few $1 million annually. Angel Reese, LSU All-American, national champion, the Lady Tiger forward, earning about $1.3 million annually through NIL. Just amazing. It is an entirely different beast, college sports. And Olivia Dunn, the gymnast, making $3.4 million annually. $3.4 million annually. It's mind-blowing. It's $300,000 a month. $300,000 a month. It's making like $75,000 a week. $75,000 a week. $10,000, $12,000 a day. She makes $500 an hour, 24/7, 365. $500 an hour, 24/7, 365. LSU gymnast Olivia Dunn. Just mind-blowing. $3.4 million annually. Wow. Did I say wow? Unbelievable. Gordon Plaza residents out in the lower Ninth Ward that have been living on a Superfund site. That's not good. The old Agriculture Street landfill. Besides just city garbage and trash, lots of toxic chemicals just dumped at that landfill back in like the 50s and 60s when EPA, DEQ either wasn't well formed, didn't even exist. Folks were just looking the other way. If they knew something was bad, what they were doing, assumed otherwise that it wouldn't hurt anybody. Hey, we'll just put some lye on top of it, some dirt. We'll entrap it, kind of pseudo-encapsulate it, and it'll be fine. Well, lots of cancer, birth defects, lots of problems with residents living on that Gordon Plaza neighborhood, sitting on top of a Superfund site. Not next door, not down the street. We talk about Cancer Alley up the river in between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. All these poor residents, lower income residents living right next door to the chemical and oil and gas facilities, right next door to the plant. Lots of high cancer rates, birth defects and the like. They're living next door to the plant. This is living on top of a Superfund site, a toxic landfill. They're crowding into a city hall conference room as we speak. Today, they're supposed to receive official appraisals of their property, offers to buy their property from the city, and their relocation, rent and relocation paid for to move into another property in the city of New Orleans. It's long overdue. They got to do them right, but they've got to do it right. I mean, I've heard some of these housing appraisals are north of $300,000. There's simply not a house in Gordon Plaza that's worth $300,000 on the real market. It doesn't exist. I want these people to be compensated properly. I don't want them getting ripped off. I don't want them underpaid. But if you're going to overpay them, then say, hey, it's compensation. We're paying for the house and all the past history. You know, all that we've done in the past. Hey, every day this program on radio, on television, live on YouTube, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. The big store. Lamarck Ford in Kenner, Lamarck Lincoln, number one in the state. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford, the truck and SUV dealer on Jefferson Highway. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, WoodhouseSpas.com.
At Helm Paint, we go the extra mile with free delivery anywhere in the metro area. In the middle of a job and short on paint? Call us and we'll come to you.
Short on time? Call in your order and pick it up in the drive-thru at our Earhart Boulevard location.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Hey, in less than 30 minutes, we'll go to Baton Rouge. Pat Connick, West Bank House Rep, will join us live. Legislative session day 2. It's kind of crazy, a $45.7 billion budget. I'm trying to do the quick math. 45 billion, 4.5 million residents. What's that, about $1,000 a head, or is it 10 grand a head? I'll have to figure out that math. The Louisiana legislative session started yesterday. Abortion, education, criminal justice reform, legalization of marijuana, property insurance, income tax, LGBTQ, spending surplus, like $1.5 billion to $2 billion in expected surplus. Governor John Bel Edwards wants to put it towards about a $15 billion backlog in highway and infrastructure that's been neglected, that we haven't done. Forget about future dream projects like what we'd like to get done. The $15 billion is things we need to get done. Bridges that are broken, that need to be repaired, replaced. Roads that are beat up, that need to be repaired, replaced. Then there's the dream projects, probably another 10, 12, $15 billion. Wow. Mind-boggling. The numbers are mind-boggling. We'll visit with Pat Connick and hopefully get some sanity of all of this from the West Bank legislator. And we'll talk about some of the bills he's throwing out there this legislative session. Old Mercy High School, Mercy Academy on Ferret and Calhoun. I think Loyola's had possession of that building since Mercy folded, essentially folding into my alma mater, De La Salle. I thought they were going to rename De La Salle Mercy, but they didn't. Just De La Salle, but it became co-ed. And De La Salle took in a lot of those Mercy students and sort of took on that legacy of Mercy High School indirectly. Loyola took over the physical structure. They're now going to tear down that old high school building on Ferret and Calhoun, and Loyola is going to build a much-needed dorm building. They need some dorm space, try to expand their footprint as far as bringing in kids from, it includes the city too, but from the region, out of state and from around the country. Grow their enrollment. You got to have nice dorms to bring these kids in. I'll never forget my niece. She went to Alabama, did really well, lives in Birmingham, has a great job in Birmingham, Alabama, a growing metropolitan area. Birmingham, Alabama is about 100,000 folks less now in their metro as New Orleans. Birmingham, Alabama, within the next 5 to 7 years will surpass New Orleans in population size. Yeah, Birmingham, Alabama. That's how embarrassing it's getting. No, but I asked my niece, I'm like, why didn't you go to LSU? And, she's like 18 or 19. She says, well, some friends and I were considering LSU, went up to LSU, but all the buildings are like old and beat up, and there's trash all over the campus, and it just looked neglected. Alabama was so clean and so many new buildings, and the older buildings are redone and nice, just newer and nicer. I was like, wow. I mean, I wasn't soliciting that. I didn't gauge the question that way. She didn't listen or watch the show. That's just her honest answer. LSU was old and dirty and beat up, and Alabama was new and clean and state of the art. It's like, wow. Now, when I was at LSU was about 32,000 students. Alabama was maybe 55, 60% of that, about 18,000 students at Alabama. Alabama now has about 40,000 students. And LSU just recently has increased their enrollment to around 34, 35,000. A few years ago, like 3-4 years ago, Alabama had about 40,000 students, and LSU was stuck at the 32, the same number as when I was at LSU 30 years ago. Now, Alabama's had tremendous growth, and a lot of folks, Nick Saban and the football team, all that did was kind of accelerate it a little bit. It started about 10 years before Nick Saban ever touched foot on the Tuscaloosa campus. Alabama decided, you know what, Auburn too, but Alabama mostly, we're going to be a better academic school. We're going to raise our academic standards, and we're going to go after kids aggressively. Alabama has the largest enrollment in the United States of national merit scholars. Basically, Alabama says, you're a national merit scholar, in-state, out-of-state, you can come to the University of Alabama for absolutely nothing, for free. My niece is staying in the state. She lives in Birmingham now, works in Birmingham, University of Alabama graduate. New York followed our TOPS program, the state of New York. They have a TOPS program, but it's different than ours, and ours should be this way. Not only do you get free tuition, but in New York, you have to stay in the state of New York working for like 4 years after graduation, or your TOPS, grant converts to a loan, a student loan that you have to pay back if you leave the state. That's how TOPS should be in Louisiana. You go to a public university or college for free. You have to stay in Louisiana and work for 4 years before you can leave. And if you leave before that, your TOPS grant becomes a loan with interest, and you have to pay that back. That makes sense. Hey, Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, they're hiring. They continuously grow. For a full listing of positions available, go to Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M. Latrim.com. Yeah, they're growing. They're hiring on the East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. Latrim.com. 5 o'clock powwow next.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Come on down to New Orleans' own Bourbon Street, the toilet of the Crescent City. Literally. Need to urinate? Pee right on one of the historic buildings. Need to vomit? It's okay. Throw up right in the street. Bourbon Street. Prostitution, drugs, strip joints, daiquiri shops, and trinket stores. The toilet of the Crescent City. Come on down. It's Bourbon Street.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Another edition of Miami Vice. Am I Crockett or am I Tubbs? It's a tough call. All I know is I want to drive the Ferrari and the cigarette boat. This show was pretty hot in its day. I think it was on Friday nights, if I'm not mistaken. NBC. Miami Vice. But it's New Orleans, like Mr. Drew Brees, number 9, says. It's not Miami. Corey Johnson with you. You are on the neutral ground. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way. West Bank House Rep legislator Pat Connick's going to join us in about 10 minutes on the program. We're going to find out what's going on from the capital city. He'll join us from the Capitol, maybe from the House floor. Representative Pat Connick coming your way in a few minutes. He's one of the good guys, one of the civic-minded guys who actually loses money being a legislator. Kind of the opposite of John Alario, who enriched himself for 40-plus years being a legislator, or those Heitmeyer brothers, same deal. I think both those guys, the Heitmeyer brothers and those two and Alario, they both have like millions of dollars in their campaign funds. Just something very wrong with Louisiana politics. How'd you like to be John Alario? Well, 45 years a politician. My mentor's Edwin Edwards. The state of Louisiana, the city of New Orleans, has been on a steady slide my entire tenure. My tenure lines up exactly with Louisiana and New Orleans' downward slide. Amazing. And the Alario Center, named after his do-nothing dad. I'm not being a jerk knocking his dad. He's just a nobody. He's a nobody. He's unknown. No one knows John Alario's dad. He wasn't a great coach that influenced so many West Bank kids. It's simply daddy getting a building named after him because his son is a legislator cut out of the same cloth as Edwin Edwards. Now, you're driving around town with your kids and someone's like, hey, Daddy, why is it Claiborne Avenue? Well, son, it's named after C.C. Claiborne, the first governor of Louisiana when it was a U.S. territory. Hey, Daddy, what's Gallier Hall? Why is it Gallier Hall? Well, honey, that's the architect, renowned architect. He designed this building. He designed a lot of other historic buildings in and around New Orleans. Gallier, I should say, an architect from that era. Okay, wow. Hey, Daddy, why is it the Alario Center? Because his son was a crooked politician and he decided to name a public building after his father, who really didn't deserve it. He wasn't crooked like his son, I don't think, but just did nothing to deserve it. Name the Alario Center after like some Avondale, Westwego war veteran, some kid that went to, the Iraq War in the early 90s, Desert Storm, and sacrificed his life for our country. The opposite of John Alario, a public official enriching himself and his family. Let's go the opposite route. Let's do it for someone that deserves it. All right. Enough bashing of the poster boy of what's wrong with Louisiana politics on this program, John Alario. His mentor, Edwin Edwards. And how ironical, he's marrying Edwin Edwards' ex-wife. She doesn't have daddy issues. She's got granddaddy issues. Wow. Hey, to each his own. Hope they're happy. Seriously, that's their personal life. Everybody's got their own hang-ups, I guess. That one is just wacky. That's insane. Anyway, Corey Johnson with you, 5 o'clock Power Hour. Hey, the 5 o'clock Power Hour this afternoon brought to you by Helm Paint and Decorating. That's a simple one. That goes in the no-brainer category. I was talking to somebody just today, seriously, about Helm Paint and Decorating. They've been at it over 50 years. Why would I go to some national chain or a big box store to get my paint when I know Helm Paint and Decorating, over 50 years, over half a century, local New Orleanians like us that you can trust. They've got Benjamin Moore, high-quality paints, the inventors of color paint. They've got all the supplies, everything you need to get the job done right. And that's what they're all about. Doing it once, doing it right. They literally will steer you in the right direction. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, it truly is a no-brainer. Helm Paint and Decorating, 7 locations, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore, plus free 2-hour delivery. You can pick out all your colors, Benjamin Moore colors online. Call one of the Helm Paint and Decorating 7 locations. They'll deliver it to your location for absolutely free. Helm Paint and Decorating, 5 o'clock Power Hour this afternoon, brought to you by New Orleans' own Helm Paint and Decorating. Yeah, like I said, Pat Connick, less than 10 minutes away, West Bank legislator, one of the good guys who actually loses money, civic-minded, doesn't make as much money at his law firm because he's not there. He's up in Baton Rouge, and he doesn't do anything in Baton Rouge to make more money, to set up friends or family. Civic-minded, going to battle for us. He's one of the key guys that got rid of the tolls. Mike Teachworth, just a citizen, Pat Hand, his attorney, and Pat Connick. Those 3 basically got rid of the Crescent City Connection tolls. It's been about 10 years now. We'll talk to Pat about that. I think it's about $220 million in savings for citizens that didn't have to pay that dopey toll. You folks in Gretna, on the West Bank especially, paying that toll to cross the bridge every day, multiple times a day. $220 million in citizen savings over the last decade. Pretty darn strong. Gordon Plaza residents living on a Superfund site for years, the old Agriculture Street landfill. They're at City Hall, downtown New Orleans, as we speak. They're supposed to receive official appraisals of their home and offers from the city for their home sites and relocation paid for. The city has set aside about $35 million to handle this major screw-up and make right as best as humanly possible the wrong that was inflicted upon these Gordon Plaza residents who, hey, buy a home site from the city. And the city hid or did not reveal that it was the old agriculture landfill. And also, there was no, in the 60s, there was no DEQ or EPA. But people knew you're dumping toxic chemicals and the like. It's not just going to go away. Speaking of going away, Old Mercy Academy High School, the building on Ferret and Calhoun that Loyola University took over decades ago and kind of repurposed, they're now going to demolish that 60-year-old or so building because Loyola University desperately needs more dorm rooms. So you Mercy Academy graduates or students from the past, that building that you remember on Ferret and Calhoun is going to get demolished. Loyola is going to build new dorms in that spot. More car break-ins in Lakeview. Lakeview residents waking up this morning. Dozens and dozens and dozens of vehicles, basically in between Fillmore and Allen Toussaint Boulevard. Broken windows busted out, their vehicles rummaged through. Just ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, wow. Angel Reese, LSU All-American forward on the national championship team. Reportedly about 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, her NIL money, name, image, likeness, college, and even high school students earning money on the side, was around $400,000. As the team got better and March Madness approached, that figure doubled to about $800,000. Now, reportedly, Angel Reese makes $1.3 million annually, over $100,000 a month in NIL money. But LSU gymnast Olivia Dunn makes about $3.4 million annually. I'm not making this up, in NIL money. Both are social media sensations and both endorse numerous products. I knew when Angel Reese came off that plane at Ryan Field up in North Baton Rouge in Scotlandville after winning the national championship, coming back from Dallas, the Neiman Marcus bag on her arm and 2 Louis Vuitton bags. There's a lot of NIL money going into Angel Reese's bank account. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. Hey, Fausto's Italian Bistro just opened their doors for dinner on a Tuesday night about 15 minutes ago. They go 5 to 9 p.m. And when the weather's like this, cool and comfortable, like 60, 70 degrees right now, dine outside, white tablecloth outdoor dining at Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets, or dine inside or sit at the bar and check out some sports action on the TV. Some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian. They're open till 9 p.m. They're open right now for dinner. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Hey, Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street. Real diamonds, natural diamonds. Diamond stud earrings, diamond tennis bracelets, diamond necklaces, engagement rings, wedding bands, real natural diamonds. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. Hey, let's go to Baton Rouge. Another legislative session. West Bank House Rep Pat Connick joins us on the program again. Pat, it's been a while. How are you doing?
Hey, Corey, doing well. But it's been so long. I'm now a senator.
Oh my God! I kept saying House Rep. I know you're a senator. I've been butchering this all show long. I apologize.
No apologies. It's all good.
Not one of 105, one of 39.
Correct.
Yep. How? What's the big difference between the Senate and the House side?
I think more civility. It's less people to deal with, and you can get along better and work things out on a more even level keel. But being in the House side, you got 105 members, and it's a animal house sometimes over there.
And on the House side, you represent maybe thousands of folks. On the Senate side, you represent tens of thousands of folks, right?
On the House side, you got about 40,000 citizens, not all voters. And then on the Senate side, you're looking at about 130.
Wow.
So it's about triple.
Wow. Amazing. Hey, Pat, before we get into it, I mentioned Mike Teachworth, a citizen on the West Bank, Pat Hand, his friend and an attorney on the West Bank, and you, when you were a House rep, basically the big trio that helped eliminate the tolls on the Crescent City connection. It's 10 years later. It's about $220 million in savings, primarily for West Bank citizens. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, about $250 million saved, and the money was wasted. Mike Teachworth and Pat Hand took it at the end and took it to court. I've fought for it since 2008, and we finally got rid of them in 2013. And Corey, I tell you this, if the money would have been going to where it was supposed to go, to roads and bridges and infrastructure, we would still have the tolls. But we knew from doing the research that it was wasted. People were getting wealthy, jobs were being created just to have jobs, but nothing was getting done. The grass wasn't getting cut. And the money was wasted, and that's the type of government we do not need. And thanks to the voters, on May 13th, 2013, we knocked it out. May 4th, 2013, we voted them off, and we sent a message to the bureaucracy guys saying enough's enough.
Well, y'all are wrong a little bit. The bureaucracy guys were right. The bridge has gone into disrepair and has fallen into the river.
Yeah, that's what they said. But you played a great role. I mean, having you in your radio show, on our side, gave us a big morale boost, and we enjoyed listening to you and laughing. Because you told it like it was, and when you didn't hold back, and what you were telling was the truth, and we appreciated that.
I'll never forget, literally while it was going on, somebody calls the show and just says, said, I just drove through the toll plaza and they didn't charge me. They had a white piece of paper taped to the window saying no tolls. That's how it started, literally in the middle of the day, like 4:30 in the afternoon one afternoon.
That was a beautiful day. That was after Mike Teachworth and Pat Hand, they were in court in Baton Rouge, and they got the judgment from the court saying, the election has to be redone because people were not allowed to vote. It was a rigged job from the beginning to allow people in other parishes to vote on putting a tax on the West Bankers, but we defeated it, and it was a good win, and it was a proud moment in my political career.
And very rare. I mean, you along with Mike Teachworth and Pat Hand, it's rare that you get citizens and a legislator on the same side and everything's going. I mean, y'all were taking on the Jolly Green Giant. There were, the mayors of Gretna and New Orleans and statewide reps and legislators and senators. Most folks were opposed to that toll going away.
Yeah, most politicians, but when you have the truth and you're on the right side of the argument, it was easy. It was fun. We just told the truth. We exposed the waste, and the outcome was the outcome, and we're better off for it.
Yep, no doubt about it. Hey, Pat, what would you say is going to be or some of the highlights for the legislative session? What are you guys trying to get done? What are some of the things on the agenda? I know abortion, education, criminal justice reform, maybe legalizing recreational marijuana, property insurance, maybe a slow removal of income tax in the state, LGBTQ topics, and maybe how to spend, about $1.5 billion, close to $2 billion in a potential surplus, right?
I think you covered every aspect of the budget, of the legislative session, going down that list. Some of the more social issues are going to be the abortion issue, the death penalty. Should we end that? Should we make exceptions on the abortion issue? Should we raise the teacher pay? All those things. And then how do we spend the money that we have as a surplus? Having a surplus is great, but we got to make sure we spend it properly.
Yep.
And we get a bang for our dollar. It's going to be a big host of things that people need to be aware of, pay attention to, and get involved. If they see something that they like or don't like or want to have an opinion, call your senator, call your rep, and get involved.
Yeah, you just go to the website, and they got the emails, phone numbers. You can call and leave messages if they don't answer. John Bell Edwards was talking about a lot of that surplus being spent on infrastructure, roads, highways. What is it, Pat? About a $15 billion backlog. And that doesn't include like 10, 12, 15 billion in future dream type projects, things we'd like to get done, right?
Well, that's everything. And that's always a wish list that every year it's 14 billion, 15 billion. But we have money to put a dent into that number.
Yep.
And, we need a new bridge in Lake Charles. We need a new bridge in Baton Rouge to help the traffic. I feel bad for the folks in Plaquemines Parish. If they hit it at the wrong time, they get in a bridge, but over time it's going to cost them, a lot of money on a toll bridge. We've been working to try to mitigate that to some degree. We'll see how that is going. But the good news is, we have a massive construction project being developed in Plaquemines Parish, an LNG plant. It's right now it's $14 billion, and they're going to do another $20 billion.
Yep,
it's the biggest project in the world going on, and the biggest finance project in the world going on. So that's a good thing for our area, a good thing for Plaquemines Parish.
Yeah, $14 billion to start phase one, and then, like you said, another $7 billion in new financing, over $21 billion. No, it's absolutely amazing. Thousands of construction jobs, about 1,000 permanent jobs right downriver from the city of New Orleans.
Exactly. The other thing, Corey, is that we got to look at our port system. We have up and down the river, we have ports that are competing against each other, and by competing against each other, we are hurting ourselves. All the traffic's going to Mobile, Savannah, Houston. We got to get on the same page. And there's 3 bills out there that are trying to get those ports together. The Avondale, Plaquemines Parish, Port of Orleans, Port of South Louisiana, and Baton Rouge ports to come get on the same page and present plans to work as a state and not as regions against each other to really make our economy prosper. What we have in Louisiana is the Mississippi River. Nobody else has that yet. We're a lot of infighting is preventing that from being developed as it should be.
Yep. Baton Rouge to the mouth of the river, Baton Rouge to the Gulf, the largest port system in the world. And I remember reading an article just recently. I think it was Japan. They were talking to some executive. And I think the Port of South Louisiana or the Port of New Orleans was approaching them about something. And they said, the Port of Plaquemines had approached us about the same thing. So you're right, competing against each other. I mean, the Port of New York and the Port of New Jersey, 2 separate states, realized they could work together and be better together, and they formed the Port of New York, New Jersey Authority, and it's one system for 2 states. So you think one state, the Port of Baton Rouge, the Port of South Louisiana, the Port of New Orleans, the Port of Plaquemines, and the Port of St. Bernard could all be under one umbrella and work together, Pat.
Listen, it needs to be done, but everybody wants to protect their own interest and understand that. But, we got to look what's best for the state and not for our own selfish interest. And by looking out, giving up a little bit, everybody prospers, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, I don't envy you guys. I remember post-Katrina, the levee districts trying to get just one levee board. We shrunk it, but it's still a few levee boards, not just one. And then try to get rid of all these different boards of education. We shrunk it, but there's still multiple boards of education, at least 2. Just hard to get these things done. Like you said, people want to protect their fiefdom.
You got it, man. You're on top of it, but, you just chip away at it and see what happens. I know there's some meetings with the port tomorrow, and you got a group of guys up here that are really focused on making a change for the better.
Good. Hey, Pat, I don't mean to interrupt you. Let me knock out this quick break. It's coming down the tracks. We'll come right back with State Senator Pat Kaare.
A young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com. Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Louisiana State Senator Pat Connick is with us live from the capital city. Day 2 of the legislative session. How does it work, Pat? Every other year it's a financial session?
Every other year is a fiscal session. We can present 5 bills that are non-tax related and unlimited bills that are tax related. And the number of days this session is 60. So it's kind of a sprint compared to, 90, whatever it is, 95 in the other sessions.
Yep. Hey, one of your bills is what we were just talking about, unifying the ports, right?
We'll have them. I copied a legislation that they have in Texas where all the ports in Texas have to come together and present a single plan to the legislature each year, a 5-year plan, 3-year plan, and 1-year plan. It's to get that discussion going. Mark Wright from Covington, he's a state rep. He has a bill that mandates they consolidate. And Patrick McMath, a senator from the Covington area, also has some legislation that affects the ports. But we all see the need to come together and not compete against each other. So keep an eye on that one going forward, and we'll see how far we get with this. But it's something that's not going to go away. If we don't get something passed this session, down the road, it's going to be passed. And
it's like, it would be like the port of South Louisiana, and it would be all 5 ports under one umbrella, ideally?
It could be the port of Louisiana,
Yeah.
So you have one brand that if I'm a company, I want to, get some containers up to Chicago or get a pipeline route to, Kansas, you go to one group and they direct you to the ports that are under their umbrella. Instead of now you have to go to 5 or 6 different groups.
Yeah.
And they all have this, their own set of rules and administration.
Yeah. No, Mobile, Alabama recently passed us in containers. That's not right. We shouldn't accept that.
If we counted containers like they were touchdowns in the SEC, we would be the Vanderbilt of the SEC, New Orleans.
Boy.
They kicking butt all over around us, but we're not. So we got to fix that.
Yeah, don't get me started, Pat. I talk about that all the time, that, New Orleans to Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, Nashville, Austin now, Louisiana to, other southern states and Texas. I wish we kept score like we do for LSU and Saints. I wish we had an annual record, because we'd be like, 1-15 every year, 2-14 compared to Houston and Atlanta and Dallas, and now Austin and Nashville are kicking our butt and taking names. Texas, the last 40 years.
We have the numbers, and they're not pretty, and that's going to come out hopefully soon, and hopefully we can change it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have some kind of city in New Orleans versus other cities scorecard annually, and the state of Louisiana versus other states scorecard annually. Last 40 years, Texas, fastest growing state in the country. The South, the fastest growing region in the country the last 40 years. I say we didn't miss the boat, we missed the rocket ship.
You're right on target.
Yeah, love to have a scorecard. That would be incredible, Pat. Pat Connick's with us. You also, there's a major, legislation, a bill that you're behind, like the unifying of the ports. And then there's something that might not be as big as that, like financially, but it's so important. You want to increase the copper theft penalties. Folks that are stealing copper, that it's a much higher penalty. Is that right?
Yeah, right now there's no, if someone buys, you have these scrap metal yards that are buying copper, they're supposed to, record your name and license, and you can't get cash for 30 days. But the penalty is like $250 if you get caught.
Right.
And what brought this to my attention is, the people are ripping out copper in our, DOTD signaling systems, like the meter ramps up and down the Pontchartrain Expressway by the Superdome. We spend millions and millions of dollars putting in that system, and overnight the copper gets ripped out and sold to some fly-by-night or some kind of entity collecting scrap metal for peanuts. And there's no consequences to that. But it's causing millions and millions of dollars of property damage. It's causing delays to traffic. And there's no consequences to it. My first thought was to ban copper sales altogether, scrap copper sales. But, we got to enforce that law, and we got to make it, those who buy the copper, make sure they do it the right way. There's some buildings on the West Bank built in 1925, Oak Haven, Madonna Manor.
Yeah. That
we're trying to save. Someone climbed up 3 stories on a bell tower and just ripped apart the copper roof.
Wow.
Overnight. And this is going to cause, maybe a $50,000 job.
Yeah.
But who's buying this stuff? They stealing gutters. Hopefully we can do something where the buyers of scrap metal are afraid to go and break the law or do something that they weren't supposed to do.
Yeah.
But if they do, take away their license, take away their livelihood. That's how important it is. We have a duty as legislators to represent our public, but what's happening to, things are being damaged left and right because people are taking copper. They also stealing those catalytic converters, whatever those things in those cars.
Yep.
Without any recourse, and that's
I think palladium in there.
To kind of curtail that.
Yeah, palladium. I think some other precious metals are in catalytic converters. Yeah, I saw the story a few months ago. The guy got a new fleet of trucks. Some jerk climbs the fence and chops off these catalytic converters. He's getting, pennies on the dollar for them, and then the guys, it's going to cost him tens of thousands of dollars to replace them on his trucks. It's just, It's prohibitive. Hey, Pat, you're a senator now. I guess you primarily represent Jefferson Parish?
Well, the next election is going to be in August, and my district will go from the Avondale area by Moscas, that part, all the way to the mouth of the river in Plaquemines Parish. I'll have the West Bank of Plaquemines Parish, and most of the West Bank of Jefferson Parish.
Wow. What are some local Jefferson Parish bills that you're going to be pushing this legislative session?
Basically, one bill is to take over underneath the expressway, highway, the West Bank Expressway. There's some issues with people camping out and putting up tents and littering and barbecuing. Give that to the parish and let the parish be able to enforce ordinances that can say no camping, no sleeping overnight, that kind of thing.
Yep.
We have a homeless problem under the bridge all over, but it's kind of infiltrating on the West Bank. We have homeless outreach, and we got to help these souls as best we can because they are human beings and give them help. And the ones that don't want to get help, make them move on. We have programs in place to do that, and we're going to be focusing on that. The litter is a problem. We got to, do what we can to keep the quality of life up on the West Bank so people stay here, stay on the West Bank, and not move on.
Yeah.
That's my goal, and it's a societal issue, and we got to address it. But I think that people are coming together to take a look at it and trying to do some positive things to make it better.
Hey, Pat, the budget this legislative session, an astonishing $45.7 billion. That just seems hard to wrap my brain around. I mean, 4.5 million people in Louisiana. I think there's states that have 7, 8, 9, 10 million people in population. They don't have a $45.7 billion budget.
Yeah. The majority of that, Corey, is education and healthcare. That's a big chunk of where our budget goes. And, unfortunately, a lot of it also is incarceration. We got some juvenile issues that we got to address. One of the things I'm looking at, we have that facility in Bridge City that wasn't housed for a maximum security prison for juveniles that were breaking out, carjacking people, moving on.
Yep.
And then we opened that center in Angola for those juveniles who did not want to reform. They did not want to get better. They were disrupted. The whole goal in life was to disrupt.
Yep.
But since that we have them moved to Angola, the number of fights and number of incidents statewide has dropped 81%. So the bad actors have been moved on, and there's a push by some to end that, the Angola facility, close it. But I think the proof's in the numbers that it's working. The juveniles that are sent up there, they can't escape. They can get the education help if they want it, and they can be better controlled. So that's something that they got some more laws that's going to be proposed to make some juveniles who commit the more heinous crimes to be tried as an adult. But the people are tired of all the crime. They're tired of all the abuse, and they're tired of the criminals getting more rights than them who pay taxes.
You don't have to tell me about these woke judges and magistrates in Orleans Parish that seem more concerned about the criminals than the citizens. It's beyond obnoxious. Hey, Pat Connick, always a pleasure having you on the program. Love getting you on. Let's do it a few more times before this session's up.
Do that in May 4th at 2023 at the 2 Cells in Gretna. We're going to have that Stop the Tolls 10-year reunion party. We'd love to have you there.
I'll be there, and I'll get you on the day of. Thanks again, Pat.
Thank you, Corey. Take care.
That's Louisiana Senator Pat Connick joining us on the program.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and were maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that. Long after that, there's baby gifts to have, and I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You got a friend in the jewelry business.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Yeah, you right. Rouse's Markets, taking care of you during crawfish season. Doesn't get much better than that. Yeah, crawfish season's going on right now in high gear, and Rouse's Markets has you covered on 2 fronts. You want to get crawfish live by the sack to bring home and boil them yourself? You're a boiling expert. You want the best live crawfish by the sack? Each and every Rouse's Market has you covered. Your neighborhood Rouse's has live crawfish by the sack for you to bring home and boil. Or maybe you're like, I don't want to mess with that. I just want hot from the pot crawfish, steaming hot from the pot, boiled by experts, South Louisiana, New Orleans style. Rouse's Markets has you covered there as well. Lunch and dinner, hot from the pot crawfish, your neighborhood Rouse's Markets. Yeah, it's crawfish season. Best quality, best price, best selection, live by the sack or hot from the pot. Rouse's Markets has you covered during crawfish season. It does taste like home because it is. Home of Thibodeau, New Orleans, South Louisiana folks. They know how to boil crawfish. Rouse's Markets. Yeah, it's crawfish season. Rouse's Markets truly has you covered. Tough to beat Rouse's. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. If you missed the last 40 minutes or so of the 5 o'clock powwow, or the last 30, 35 minutes, you missed Pat Connick, state senator, joining us live from Baton Rouge, right off the Capitol, talking about this legislative session, all kind of stuff, trying to, big things like unifying the ports. Port of Baton Rouge, Port of South Louisiana, Port of New Orleans, Port of St. Bernard, Port of Plaquemine, being under one umbrella, maybe called the Port of Louisiana. From Baton Rouge to the Gulf, Baton Rouge to the mouth of the Mississippi, the largest port system in the world. Number one. We should have that under one umbrella, promoting that fact. When more containers are moved out of Mobile, Alabama than New Orleans, that's a major problem. And then Pat Connick has some other legislation like increasing the penalties for copper thieves and those purchasing the stolen copper. Because right now it's like a $250 fine. And the damage they're doing can be in the millions. So smart legislation by a savvy, civic-minded veteran in State Senator Pat Connick, who joined us on the program. Every day we broadcast live this program on television, on radio, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com, on YouTube. We do it always from the Buddy Diliberto River Cities Total Maintenance Studios. River Cities Total Maintenance, that's Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys. Honest, air conditioning and heating experts that come immediately. Those are the three big things. Honest, AC and heating guys, incapable of ripping you off, only doing the work, the service, the replacement that's absolutely necessary. Air conditioning and heating experts, they're not guessing. They know exactly what they're doing. And they come immediately because they know if your AC or heat's not working, you're inconvenienced. Now, I love these guys. River Cities Total Maintenance. I've been talking about them for over 10 years on this program. I've been using them even longer. No, Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys. River Cities Total Maintenance is there for you, New Orleans and beyond. You can find them online, NOLAAC.com, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore, River Parishes, NOLAAC.com. Yeah, every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River Cities Total Maintenance Studios. Yeah, you right. A Tuesday afternoon edition of the program. A ton of stuff going on. Gordon Plaza residents out in the lower ninth, living on that Superfund site, the old Agriculture Street landfill. They're going to receive or have or are receiving as we speak from City Hall appraisals, official appraisals, and offers from the city for their home sites and relocation fees paid for. The city has set $35 million aside to right this wrong. I was talking about Angel Reese, the NIL income, name, image, likeness. It's dramatic. About 2 months ago, Angel Reese was reportedly making about $400,000 a year. As March Madness and the tournament approached, that doubled to around $800,000. Now winning the national championship, reportedly Angel Reese brings in about $1.3 million annually in name, image, and likeness money. $1.3 annually, like $100,000 plus a month. Now, LSU gymnast Olivia Dunn brings in about $3.4 million annually. LSU gymnast Olivia Dunn, $3.4 million annually. She's number 3 in the entire country. College athletes primarily, but even some high school athletes taking advantage of this NIL money. Olivia Dunn is number 3 in America, 3.4 million annually. Olivia Dunn brings in about $300,000 a month. LSU gymnast Olivia Dunn brings in around 75 grand a week. That's north of 10 grand a day. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hey, it's America, capitalism. It is what it is. When I saw Angel Reese coming off the plane at Ryan Field in North Baton Rouge after the national championship and had the Neiman Marcus and Louis Vuitton bags, I was like, NIL money. What's that, Blue Boy? You want a Louis Vuitton dog collar? Buddy, that could cost like $500, $600, $800, maybe more. I'm sure it's available. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow at 4.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.